Hello and welcome to Heather and Hops. My name is Kat, or Catherine. I'm a knitter based in Hertfordshire in the United Kingdom, and this is my little space where I've documented my knitting journey from my first project through to now, where I have almost been knitting for 4 years. I think it's like 2 months shy of 4 years, which is wild. Yeah, and it's kind of a place where I've hoped to cultivate connections and a sense of community, and it's lovely to welcome you if you've not been here before, and if you've been here for a while, it's really nice to see you again. Yeah, it's Tuesday. Normally I try and record on a Monday. Yesterday was a bit of chaos, which is all good. I have quite a lot of knitting to share with you this week. I did end up doing quite a bit of knitting compared to what I might normally do these days. I had a bit of a neck injury, I was feeling a little bit under the weather, and then towards the end of the week I had the pleasure of hanging out with a Fibre friend in real life. Very, very happy. And then we had a friend to stay over the weekend, and yeah, did a bit of knitting. Didn't do any spinning. I was a bit concerned that having to angle my head too much would affect it. It's all good now, mostly. It's a little bit sore in the morning still, but we won't talk about that. Yeah, I do have a coffee this morning. I have got a decaf AeroPress. I did it using the inversion method. Yeah, I always have a hot drink or a drink and Mohair in it. That was flagged last week and that was quite funny. But if it wasn't for tea and coffee, which is the industry that I've worked in for really the longest, I wouldn't be here and I wouldn't be approaching knitting or design in the way that I do. It's quite an important part of my world, massive, and actually without Alex and his tea job I wouldn't be able to do this either, so it's quite, even though I don't talk about it as in depth as maybe I did previously, or you know, I don't actually, it doesn't have it on these where the beans are actually from, which bums me out because normally we do get a single farm or a single estate coffee, and Caravan are usually very good at it, but I think because this is a decaf and a blend they've not listed it. But yeah, I used to talk about this sort of thing quite a lot on In Depth, but you know, it's a big part of me, and I'm not gonna lie, after between 45 minutes and an hour of setting up, getting things together, making sure I've got my head in the right place, and camera and technology, which we all know is a little bit of my kryptonite, it's really nice to take a couple of minutes to put the kettle on, be for those minutes while the kettle's boiling, and then being able to take a deep breath and coming and sitting. It is a preparatory meditation, moving meditation if you will. So yeah, I'm gonna very much enjoy it, and I hope you have one too, whether that is a drink or a bit of food or something that kind of grounds you, maybe you're knitting. Yeah, I don't know, just thought I'd talk about that a bit, because I don't know if anyone, like how many of you have been here since the beginning times. But coffee really moved me into a very different way of thinking. Without going too much into it, I think there's an episode, and I'll try and find it, where I do talk about it more in depth, but knowing where things come from and the process is something that, like, my dad taught me at a very young age, in fact. Like, he is very good at making things and teaching, so I learnt a lot through him, you know, renovating our house for 20 odd years. It took that long, bless him. It was kind of that final push into my own understanding that it can be from a well thought intentional source, and it can be from just wherever, or it can be made with the biggest care and every step carefully curated, or it can just be thrown together. And there's a time and a place for all, but to me it was very fascinating to learn. And I approach yoga, I approach knitting, I approach spinning with that mentality if I can. Where did it come from? How's it been made? And trying to, you know, move slowly through it. Apart from the knitting process, which seems to have gone very quickly, I don't imagine that next week I'm going to have nearly as much. Just a heads up. But I'm going to have a little slip. But yeah, where do we start? Finished objects usually. So I guess I will. I'll share these because this has been a long time coming, really. Oh! It makes sense. I'm wearing 2 knitted items. I haven't shared them. I am wearing the cloud bow dress, which is a pattern from issue 40 of Pom Pom magazine. I really love this item. I knitted it using drops mohair and a high twist BFL just for the hem and collar and cuffs. And I used Bûches, the lace weight mohair in dark blue green, I believe. It definitely reads a lot more green than blue, which I love. And I made a few modifications to it. Maybe a little. I adjusted the collar and the hem to be I-cord, not a fancy adjustment. I omitted the increases to give a little frill edge, just again I didn't fancy it, and I adjusted the length slightly. I don't think I knitted it out as wide from the underarms, and actually I could really adjust this to make it fit a bit better, but actually when my arms are down I do think it hangs really nicely. It just looks a bit funny like this. I won't talk about the construction because I've mentioned it loads, but it is a very easy pattern to get going with garments. There's a top version and it has long sleeved. I'm a little bit jittery, I've not had coffee yet. So the pattern itself comes with multiple options, so you can have short sleeves or long sleeve, a dress or a top. The top's beautiful. I've also knitted the top and another version of this. I'm going to put my hands up and say I might pay my other version of this forward. I'm wearing this so much and I really would like to knit a black version that, unless I over dye my other version black, I ended up wearing a black velvet dress to the wedding instead of this, so it wasn't meant to be. So anyway, really love this item, and I am wearing also a knitted dress underneath it. I'm wearing my little rebel dress, which I knitted using, I believe it's Drops Pina. It's 100% alpaca. It's called a little rebel dress because really knitting a dress in alpaca is not the most sensible. It's got a lot of drape, it's quite heavy, so if you're wanting structure, I think this works, and it's because it's a short skirt and a vest top, it's not actually too heavy. But I love this, and I love this pairing double knit where if I was feeling even cooler, I would put Jessie Mae's My Secret Little Crop underneath it, or a framework bralette, and that would, you know, be my thing. But I love this as a combination. The Little Rebel dress is on Ko-fi as a recipe. It's not a pattern. It gives you all the instructions on how to do the maths to make one yourself. It is available for free or pay what you want or can kind of vibes. And yeah, I like this outfit a lot and I wear it quite often. I do find that I want to wear a belt with the cloud bow dress always. It is a lot more flattering on me, and I just like it. It keeps this hugged in and not flailing around, though I do flail anyway, right? So from the same magazine, issue 40 of Pom Pom, I did cast on this one. Actually don't know at this point, but I cast on a Ciriform sock and it's a beautiful pattern, mohair, and I've knit both of them now. So I'm going to be able to wear them. If I take them off the blocker, they do look a little bit ridiculous. It kind of doesn't look like a proper sock. I have made some modifications. Nothing too wild, but I adjusted the increases after the first, I can't remember, maybe 12 rounds of the toe. Just to be quicker, I like a spacious toe area, so just to make sure that there was enough room and it was comfortable, I sped up those increases. I held the mohair double throughout instead of single, which is what the pattern calls for, and I did just a garter stitch heel. I don't know why, I just did it. I do like a squishy garter heel, if I'm honest, and that is about it. I think I knitted the length just to how I like them. I adjusted the striping pattern slightly and then just used a mixture of colours to do it. The heels and toes are a gorgeous Corridale and mohair base from Amazing Kelsey of Knitting Nikabi. It is a one-of-a-kind madder colour. We did a little swap a while back. It was me just wanting to send one of my lovely D&D players a gift. I've met a couple of the players and had the opportunity to send gifts to everyone else in the group, and it was just time. And then Kelsey very sweetly sent me a little parcel back, so that was from there. And I've already knitted one other pair of socks using this yarn, and I still have some left. I don't have it with me, but it would be enough to at least do another pair with heeled toes and probably some nice good size cuffs, so that's very cool to be able to stretch a yarn you love that you know is going to last into these sort of items. I think that, well, I was worried that holding mohair single wouldn't provide enough stability, or it might feel a little bit sharp underfoot because of the lace, because it's lace weight in the silk, which is why I held it double, and I just feel like there'll be lots really hard wearing, but I do think they'd been fine just held single. But I had these colours that I just wanted to use with the contrast colour, so I just felt like holding it double would just be a bit less obvious that I'm just striping. Like I say, I'm not the hugest stripes person. I don't know why. I quite like a stripe, but it's not too stripy. Look at that, it's really funny. But yeah, so they fit really nicely. The idea for me was that I can wear these unfolded with my docks and then fold them for wearing with sort of Vans, and I have a couple of pairs of clogs actually, and I might actually give that a go today because I do think this is the vibe. Yeah, they're really nice, really fun to knit actually. If you are after something a little bit simple but a little bit different, I can recommend them. They come in a 7, 8 and 9 inch circumference. Be easy enough to adjust to your favourite stitch count if you are someone that modifies your socks, and you know, yeah, really happy with them, and I can't wait to put them on my feet, which I might do. I haven't blocked them. I haven't blocked anything that I'm going to show you. I do like to show things when they're absolutely finished, but also if I don't feel like they really need a wash before wearing them, I won't. Yeah, really cute, really fun, and I can imagine I'm going to knit more of these. I have a few different mohairs that I don't have very much left of, and I feel like this is a great way of using them up. That's interesting, and the fact that you can feel the difference between the non-mohair and the mohair is wonderful. I don't know, it's kind of tactile on your foot, if you can imagine your foot feeling something as tactile that's not like, do you know what I mean? And yeah, I haven't woven in all the ends. There you go. The truth. The truth. But they're very cute and I'm quite looking forward to wearing them. I made them not totally matching, as you might be able to tell. They're definitely sisters, not twins. But yeah, the dark orange is Rust from Aimee that you can see, and that's held with Rust from Drops Mohair, and then the light green is Sage by Drops Mohair, and then I can't remember what the variegated-y speckled one is, I'm afraid, but they're lovely. They've come out great, and it's actually sparked my knitting for socks. Not craving joy. I was saying that a while back that I got a base about a month and a half ago, and it just felt very weird on my fingertips to use such fine needles, and now I'm really enjoying it again. I do have a new cast on. But let's show you this one before. So last time I was here I showed you my contrast racer bra from Aimee in a Nervous Fibre Merino DK, and I have enjoyed the fit of it so much and know that I'm going to wear this. I will have to knit myself a black one because again that will be very, very wearable, but I did cast another one on in this, which again I do apologise, I've just got a few, I don't have much left in my wall pantry, a few balls of yarn that do not have labels. So this is a Merino DK, I can tell you that, so it is superwash I believe, which isn't my favourite, but I'm going to use it if I've got it, in a greeny colour, and I knitted another one. Again, there's a few ends that haven't been woven in, but this one will be worn a lot too, and I'm hoping to pair it with my Look at My Holes tops by James N. Watts. They are quite a perfect pairing, and even under this when I need a more open attire, if that makes sense, I will wear it with just a short skirt or a pair of shorts. I finished this while I was playing D&D on Sunday, which was so much fun. I've really missed playing, and we might only have 1 or 2 games in July, which is a little bit sad, but also it's amazing because we get to play it. Do you know what I mean? Just need to play more. So what I actually did was, instinctively, I held the straps like I would if I was doing a 3-needle bind off. So if you're doing that, you work it from the wrong side. But then, for some reason, instinctively, I did a Kitchener stitch. So the neat finish is on the inside. So I might go in and undo it, or I might leave it. But the only modification that I made to this entire pattern this time was just adding, I think, 1 inch onto the length of the twisted rib underneath. These things look really ridiculous, not on a person, but because of the ribbing they just grow. It fits lovely, it's exactly the same as the other one, and yeah, not much to report other than it's a really fun pattern. It includes so many modifications, making it a really good pattern to make fit you personally, which is one of my favourite things about patterns at the moment. More and more are coming out with so many modifications and variants, which kind of makes it feel like more so that knitting patterns should be sitting in line with sewing patterns in terms of pricing, when people are putting in so much effort to ensure cups and circumferences and lengths are all sort of modifiable, and you've got the support. But yeah, a really good pattern for that, and I think this would be quite easy to make your own modifications to make it more your own. So if you didn't actually want ribbed, I mean, you wouldn't want to do it not ribbed because it would take that, it's the elasticity. But if you wanted to add something to it, you easily could modify it. I don't know, put cables on the straps or, but yeah, really lovely pattern. It is knitted from the bottom up, and then you work, bind off for the underarms, you work the back, then you work the cups separately, you knit the straps, and then you just graft them together. It's a really easy, cute little knit, and it doesn't require very much yarn, which is nice, but to have such a nice item, and I'd use this yarn for something else, and I've still got, what, 15 grams left, maybe? I don't know. But I will weigh this one too, but the other one I knitted weighed 80 grams. So yeah, really good pattern. It's definitely going to be a wardrobe staple going forward. And again, great for layering, something that I just love to do. Maybe more than many. Ooh. Magpies are having a bit of a riot, causing a ruckus. I feel like I'm talking quite quickly again today. Maybe it's because I've not spoken to anyone. Alex didn't get in till gone way past 8 last night, and he left very early like he usually does. So he got in, he went out because he needed to go outside, and I'd already been out I went for a jog yesterday, and Alex went out for a jog in the evening. So I stayed at home, and I didn't see him very much before we just passed out together. And then I haven't spoken to anyone today, so maybe that's why. Maybe I need to make some phone calls before I record in future. The next one that I have is a mostly finished FO, and I love him. So the last few episodes I've shared making body parts from Wild Knitted Animal Friends by Louise Crowther, and I've been making Hugo the zebra, which we're calling Gary the zebra, and he's almost finished. He has just his little tail for me to sew on, which I must say is a very cute little tail, and he will be complete. I will make a few little, finishing. I will steam him and just make sure he's completely perfect. But I love him. I'm so happy, and I can't believe how close to the images he looks. And obviously I used the recommended yarn, which was Stonewash, and the colours are Onyx and Moonstone. But he's come out even better than I imagined. I love his little mane, and that you can sort of style it. It holds. A little punk rock. It tells you in the book how to stuff it, saying where to stuff firmly, where not to. I could have maybe stuffed a little bit more up here to stop his head being too floppy, but I still think it's just great. And what I might do is use a crochet hook or a needle and just push a little bit more from here up to the neck. But isn't he just so cool? I'm considering not making clothes for the little one for now. One, because he's very cute and I will put eyes on him, but two, a lot of the patterns require buttons, and part of me is like, maybe I could use Velcro or something else, but maybe I will start making them in the future, and then as the little one gets older I can add different outfits. But I will make it because I've got the yarn for it. But I'm just so happy. I can't wait to knit another one. What do you think, Gary? Oh yes. The book, again, I said it before, but the book is great. It has 12 different creatures and 40 accessories, I think. And there's everything from like little knickers and different types of shoes to, you know, denim trousers and a little biker jacket and dresses and a ballet outfit. It's very cool. I would recommend it, and like I said, it's got all of the information on different seaming techniques for different, so how to mattress horizontal, how to mattress stitch vertical. I have achieved a lot of very neat mattress stitching on this, a lot, but as always, as a knitter does, there's just a little bit of jankiness here. This was the first bit I did, and for some reason I think I was watching the end of the Calamity, which, if anyone's watched it, you'll understand why it was a little bit solid and a little bit which, by the way, if you've watched it, tell me what you think without spoiling anyone. Yeah. Otherwise, I think he's just perfect. He's so sweet. These little danglers. So yeah, I am excited to knit another one. I think I'm going to knit one for a friend. Just need to decide which, and I'm hoping to use up some yarn that I have in my wall pantry. It's DK rather than Sport, but I think it'll be okay. I might go up one needle size and let it be just a little bit bigger so it's not quite so hard on the fingers. But Gary is done, and Gary can boogie. Very cute. Very cute. So just a little bit more. So every item is knitted flat, which I quite like, but if you have DPNs, you'd probably be able to knit some of it in the round quite easily, and making that adjustment wouldn't be that difficult. And yeah, the yarn feels really nice, I've got to say. It's the acrylic in there does give it a bit more softness, and the cotton does keep it feels cool, if you know what I mean, even when the weather's like it is today. But yes. Okay, put Gary down. Not like just put him down. Maybe you should sit behind. Hang out there, buddy. Don't know you'll be able to see him anyway. Oh, he looks a bit drunk. Anyway. So I have 2 whips to share with you. This one is something that I've already done before, but I really enjoyed knitting them the first time, and I knitted some vanilla socks for Alex, my husband. Lovely sweet man, and I'm knitting myself a pair. I did intend to knit the other ones for me, sort of, but the second Alex saw them, being like the first stripe repeat, Alex was like, "They're for me, right?" And I was like, okay, of course. So I am knitting myself a pair of vanilla socks, but in a very beautiful yarn. This is wool from Stripy Cat Yarns. Sarah is amazing. The colours that Sarah gets are beautiful, and this is an on superwash base, which Sarah now offers. When I received this, again, I did a swap, so I sent Sarah the yarn to make a pair of slippers, and in return very kindly offered to send me some yarn and sent me this with a contrast. So this is the nut cut. Having a moment. I think I listened to about 5 minutes of the latest campaign 3 that's just come back on of Critical Role, and Matt had a problem with words, and I feel like I've got the problem with words as well now. It's like contagious. But this is Nutcracker, and this was the contrast colour that comes with it, and I'm not sure if it will be brought back. I'm not sure if it's something that's available, but I really love the colours. They are a very good blend to me, quite on brand. But this is how it knits up, and I'm already doing the ripping. I don't need my socks very long, even if I'm wearing my Docs. I've only got short little Chelsea boots. This is the perfect length for me. And I did that. I started Friday, so we had, like I said, we had a friend come round, and I've got a few projects, but not many on the go, and I definitely didn't have something that I felt comfortable to go for a bike ride in London with, and I just wanted after knitting the Ceroform socks, I definitely need to knit another pair of socks, or I would like to, and I knew that I was ready to knit with some self-striping for kind of, well, it makes it more Moorish, doesn't it? You get, you know, one more repeat, one more round, and yeah, I managed to get to the hill by Sunday, and then yesterday I turned the hill, and whilst I watched a lovely little short documentary on a couple of people riding longboards from LA to New York that's just been added to Netflix. It was quite nice, wholesome. I knitted this and then did the tiniest bit of ribbing whilst I listened to that little bit of Critical Role this morning, and then stopped. But I really enjoy a vanilla sock, and I forgot how much I do enjoy them, and I'm back to magic looping again. I might change if I am gonna know that I'm gonna knit a sock at home only, or if I know that I'm gonna be static with it. But if I'm taking it out with me, I tend to prefer the longer needles and the security it seems to provide me, because the mini circulars I do really like using when I'm just going in the round. But this, it feels safer, like I can slide the stitches along onto the cable and it's not going anywhere. Now yeah, this is just my normal, I do a 64 stitch sock for both me and Alex. He will probably be able to borrow these. I've done them a little bit shorter than I did his ones. I did just a short row heel, really nothing fancy, which I've got to say, I think my knitting is definitely getting tighter, because and just neater. I don't have holes at all, which usually I have to sew up just a tiny little bit, but I don't. It's absolutely come out perfectly, so that's exciting. Yeah, I really like this. I really like this base. Alex's ones have lasted really well. Really well actually. They still look new, and I quite enjoy it when he wears them and you just sort of poke out of his butt jeans. But yeah, I intend on finishing this one whilst I sit and edit this later on if I can. Sometimes I think, oh, I'm going to sit and knit while I edit, and I just don't get to, which is quite nice, but also I'm like, oh, I missed out on some knitting time. But yeah, usually there's loads of things to try and fix. Fingers crossed, from here on in, we've got better audio and better video, because this seems to pick me up better now. Yes! And I have a microphone here and here. We've got backup. So yeah, really enjoying them. I love this yarn, and I might even think about casting on another pair of self-striping. I do have some superwash. I've got one set of, I can't remember the company it's from. I'll find it out. But it's like a every flavour bean colourway, and there's like 12 different coloured stripes. I feel like that would be really fun to knit. I bought it for a Christmas gift for someone last year, and I will probably do the same, knit it into another pair of gift socks. But I've got the sock bug. I do have an idea of socks and I've charted them up for a very special collection, but maybe I should work on that instead. But they were really fun. But I don't know why I keep hesitating. I think it's because I've never knitted colourwork socks, apart from these ones that just need to be re-knitted because I prefer knitting them top up, and I've started them top down. But yeah, I've got the sock excitement. And finally, I've not had much in bags to share with you lately, but this is from Nat Knits Crafts, who I'm not sure if Natalia has time to make bags anymore, but I love this bag. Alex and I received matching ones and it's the bag that we both use, especially if we're going away. I like this big handle. I can walk and knit at the same time. And in here is the start of a jumper, and now it doesn't look like very much, and I have to say this mohair is getting everywhere, and I'm hoping that I can make it a little bit neater when the time comes, and it's on a very small needle, which makes it quite hard to share with you. But hopefully you can see. There we go. So this is the Arachne by Andy Sutherland, that's the one. It's quite a popular pattern. It's a yoked jumper, so you knit a colourwork yoke and then divide for the sleeves, knit the sleeves, knit the body down. Seamless, very simple construction. There aren't any short rows. But I have opted to add mohair to mine just because more mohair, really. And I am using ladderback jacquard. It doesn't mention it or recommend it, but having used the technique a few times before, I knew that it would help me to create neater colourwork. So what you do is you essentially create another layer of fabric at the back where the long floats can sit, if that makes sense. So you can actually see where I've started then, and I'm hoping I can close that up a little bit. I don't know what I did differently. It's not too noticeable, but there's definitely a little bit more of a gap between these stitches. But along the centre you put a purl stitch that sits behind, and then you purl that extra stitch, and it just creates a long stretchy float, which makes it very good for this sort of pattern where you've got big long gaps. I am not rushing through this. I've actually had this on my needles for a few weeks, but it really wasn't, you know, it wasn't worth showing really beforehand, but I'm really enjoying it. If you've been here for a while, you'll know how much I love colourwork and I love mohair, and I haven't done much colourwork knitting lately at all, and this is one of the things that kind of made me get all a bit giddy about knitting again. But yeah, so I'm using Evergreen by Hobby. It is 100% wool organic. It is sort of a fingering weight yarn, but it's quite lofty, so I'm using 3.5 needles, or 3.75 needles, and I like how this is. I've already knitted with this to see what the gauge is like, and I like the fabric this creates. So it's quite a versatile yarn. You could knit it quite densely if you wanted, or like I say, it's sort of a DK gauge. I think the pattern calls for sport weight, which again, you could knit it that. and I'm using some, I say leftover, this isn't leftover, but this is from a pair of socks that I knitted. It is a Woolly Mammoth natural sock. I believe the colour's jasmine, and I'm not sure what this is. This is just some mohair that I had. I picked up a batch of wool on the cone, I think 2 years ago, from something about chickens, maybe. I'll find the company and put it on if I can. I'm sure. But I picked up some yarn from my knitting machine. Basically, I ordered, it was a mystery bundle. I think it was really, really affordable. It was like £20 for 5 cones. And I got a bit of mohair, a bit of cotton, and a bit of wool sent to me, which was amazing because I like all three. So I'm holding them together, which is a little bit wild because they are quite thick together, but I did do a little swatch beforehand, and it did seem to be fine. I liked the way it looked, and it did help the spiderweb detail to be a little bit more prominent. So yeah, like I said, there's not much to this so far. I'm just knitting the neckline, top down yoke in colourwork, and there's no short rows, so it wasn't, not much thinking, just a little bit of happy knitting really. And oh, where am I? Oh, okay. It looks like there's a knot in there. Tuck you behind. There we go, hidden. Yeah, I'm gonna think about what I do with the shaping of the body and the sleeves. It sounds like there can be quite a bit of extra circumference in the sleeves on this pattern, and I'm not sure if I want to make it a more fitted crop top or if I actually want it to be a bit more oversized and a bit more cozy, comfy. So I'm gonna just get to the yoke and be able to then hopefully try it on and get an idea of how I then want it to feel. I might do bell sleeves, they're one of my favourite, but cinch them in. Again, that's something that I like to do. If I'm going to do sort of more straight sleeves or more fitted, I'll end up doing them a bit more bracelet length, but I'm thinking I will want a full length, both full length jumper and full length sleeves on this. But we'll see. Really, really just a very fun pattern to knit. I did get caught out, I think, because there's 2 charts, and I think I ignored that once. So it might be slightly different to some of the other patterns, but only, you know, insurmountably, like not much difference at all. So yeah, really, really, really enjoying it, and quite looking forward to spending some time with it, if I'm honest. Which I say a lot, but I really am. Like, I don't feel like I'm getting, it's my own doing, I'm not getting as much knitting time lately, and that's good, apart from last week, which is why I've got all of this. Because it means that my health is getting better, and that I'm very grateful for, you know. Yesterday our neighbours were making loads of noise, which is why I didn't record. I don't know why, but I also had a little shuffle in here. So the plants have moved a little bit, and my view here is really a lot nicer. I might even give you a little show and tell. I won't really, but I might show you my plant, because one of them's hanging down and it looks very nice. But yeah, that was a bit of waffle for you too. That is everything. I've done a little bit more spinning yesterday. I had about 15-20 minutes in the evening, not very much, so I won't show you my spinning project. Yeah, I'm very excited to be knitting and finding more joy in it again. And it wasn't that it wasn't joyful, it was that I was just a bit burnt out, and I think I needed to rein it in. And now I want to let it out and do it all again. Anyway, I hope that you have a nice time whatever you get up to this week. I hope that the world, as messy as it is, still manages to bring you a little bit of joy. I hope that you do get outside a little bit if it's available to you. It looks like it's a gorgeous day, so I might see if I can sit outside with Audrey, who is currently on the garden swing, swinging away. I might see if I can edit from the swing today. That would be very nice, a real treat. Even though I work from home and our home is a really lovely space, I don't often treat myself to doing things like that anymore, which is wild, because if you've got the ability to, why aren't you, right? Yeah, with that, I hope to see you again very soon. And hopefully you're feeling good and well, and your loved ones are happy, and you get to spend a little bit of time with them and make contact with them if you can, and I don't know, and just suddenly feel very nervous. Okay, don't forget to love each other.
Lighter.
Is that your entire tasting notes?
Yeah, darker, lighter, darker still.